The time now is 6:15, time for the last edition in the present series of the Victorians, presented by Lorne Gillies.
I went to London to meet tonight's Victorian, a tall, slim man with a most kindly and chivalrous manner. He was born before the turn of the century, but he's still fresh of face and keen of eye, and his hair may be white, but he's exceedingly handsome and distinguished. Still, it's his voice which you at home will remember most, the voice and music which made him loved throughout Britain, which made him an honorary Scot by his long and friendly association with our country. So I'll let him introduce himself, just as he did 45 years ago.
Hello, everyone. This is Henry Hall speaking to you. 5:15 is known to millions of listeners as the time of the daily broadcast of the BBC Dance Orchestra. And this tune is based on the notes BBC.
5:15, rah, 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 BBC Dance Orchestra.
Now, Mr. Hall, our programme goes out at 6:15, not 5:15, and more than 40 years...
By the way, my name is Henry, and so would you address me as Henry?
I will indeed. Thank you very much. So, Henry, more than 40 years have gone by since you first made that famous announcement. This is Henry Hall speaking. But we're going to start off our programme by going an awful lot further back than that. I'd like to take you right back to the 1890s, to the time that you were born. Perhaps you'd tell us where you were born.
I was born in London in 1898, so you won't make me any older than that, just inside the Victorian age.
You just qualified.
Yes. Born in a place called Peckham, which is in southeast London. And my father was a blacksmith, and he was a very good collector of pictures, and he liked music. And one day I was asked to pick out some notes on the piano, and the music master played the notes, and I responded immediately. I had an extremely sharp ear, and I was singled out, and I was sent to the Trinity College of Music. I won 3 scholarships in Orion, and therefore I, at the age of 11, had won those scholarships.
Your family, I believe, were in the Salvation Army, weren't they?
That's true, yes. My father was a very keen Salvationist, and he saw that I learned to play not only the piano, but I learned to be a trumpet player, which was to stand me in very good stead. My sister is still a Salvation Army officer, and I have much to be grateful to the Salvation Army, because my father once spotted an opportunity of me joining the Salvation Army in a practical way, because I joined the music department, and I learned to orchestrate and apply. As a matter of fact, I was in South Africa a little while ago, and I was astonished walking through Cape Town to hear one of my marches being played. And that's rather extraordinary, I think, after all these years, that the music I wrote when I was 16 was being played. Not by a dance band.
No. Apart from the musical aspect, did the Salvation Army have a great deal of influence on you as a youngster?
I suppose yes, because it taught me one thing, to be not only pure in heart, but pure in mind, which may sound funny coming from a dance band leader, but it did have the effect of making me understand that you can't get away with murder and be a first-class musician, performer, or writer.
Did the army actually, was it a restriction on your pastimes, or was it an opener out? Which would you say?
An opener out. Because during the war, the First World War, I was asked to join the International Staff Band, which is the highest honor I could have in there, and I toured with them. And it was the first time I'd toured, which was quite an event. And I was seeing a different kind of world. I went to Reading, first of all, which seemed to be the end of the world to me. And oh my gosh, you're making my memory go back a bit. I went to Abingdon. We played in the Corn Exchange, and I played the piano.
In those days, of course, I suppose you were playing classical stuff, were you?
Oh, yes, entirely went for the classics. Matter of fact, it's funny enough, I was just a few days ago watching on the box. There was Sir Charles Goes, I beg his pardon, doing the Tchaikovsky and analyzing it. And I was able to pull out my score, and to my horror, I saw it was dated, my copy was dated 1919. So I've been playing it for a long time.
Oh, you couldn't have been such a bad pianist at that rate, then.
Well, I could play the piano, and not now because I've had a stroke. But prior to that, I could play. And being a copyist in the Salvation Army, I began to understand scores. I joined the army in 1916, and I became the world's worst soldier. I didn't like discipline, and I didn't like the silly things one had to do, like cleaning the shoes and cleaning the buttons and things like that. It seemed to me such a waste of time. It never interested me, and eventually the British Army decided to make me a batman, and I was posted to the garrison artillery, and in the garrison artillery I was put in the band because I could play so many instruments. I learned that my orchestration came into play there because as batman to Godfrey Turk, he taught me about theatre.
And he Sir Godfrey Turl eventually?
Sir Godfrey Turl, and he was probably one of the greatest actors I ever met. And he taught me, I don't know, perhaps I observed, I've been always very observant. And that's helped me pick so many people in the world of entertainment. I am able to note various little characteristics which pick them out as just that wee bit different. But with Godfrey Turl, I learned that if you have to be good the best you possibly can. He was a very handsome man, a very particular man, precise. And every word he utters had quality. And not quantity, but quality. And it's possibly helped me again.
What did you think you were going to be when the war ended?
Well, I was out of work. But I, like so many other people, I tried to get a job and I couldn't. But I had picked up one funny thing, and that is I could play a concertina. I got to make a living. Not a very good one, but I got a living by playing concertinas as solos at the National Sunday League concerts in the various places, because to get concertina players was a very rare thing, and so I got the guinea or guinea out of playing there. I once did a strange thing. I did a recital of concertina music, of all places, at the Aeolian Hall, which, as you know, is now the headquarters of the BBC's Light Entertainment.
Oh, that was intimations of grandeur to come. And what about going on the stage? Did you ever think of that?
No, I went back to the civil service, you know, at the beginning of the peace, 1919, and I found it a bit dull. And I heard these wonderful stories of people earning vast, to my mind, then vast sums on the music halls. So I formed a trio I called it Variety 3. And I played in Inverness, and I went up to a place called Wick, and I played there.
And meanwhile, what about the piano? Was the piano gone to bed at that time, or were you still...
No, I've always been keen on playing the piano. I gave up all to become a pianist and studied at the Guildhall School of Music. And one day, Christmas of 1922, I was called upon to go up to the middle of Manchester because the pianist had disappeared to earn a few more shillings in London. And to me, it turned out to be the great moment of my life. And I became in charge of the orchestra, and then I owned the orchestra, and then I had the second orchestra, third, fourth, and Gleneagles was my fifth orchestra. And by that time, BBC had found me, and recording companies, and I was on my way. I arrived in 1924 at Gleneagles. A Scotsman called Matheson conceived the idea and bought the place and developed first of all the hotel. And then in 1922, it had to be decided what were they going to do. And either they were going to make it just another golf course hotel, or were they going to make it something special. And they decided to go and make it very expensive, and not only expensive, but possibly the best hotel in Scotland. Can I tell you, once I was ticked off by a very eminent gentleman who became Lord Chancellor. He was named John Simon, my Lord Simon, and he told me off for playing Gilbert Sullivan on a Sunday. On the Sabbath, it was a very important day, and there was no fun. And I would call him a miserable old so-and-so.
But don't tell me you had a 7-day week, did you?
Yes. After all, we had a lot of American people who didn't want to know about troubles. They came down there to enjoy themselves. So in Gleneagles, there's a ballroom, a lovely ballroom, and all green and gold, and behind the gold curtain, I rehearsed my band. What they did the other side of the curtain was no concern of mine. Mind you, it's only fair to say that if Scotland has seemed to be dour, I think of it, of those wonderful days of the hunt balls and the Scottish balls and all the boys and girls in their kilts. I have the happiest memories. The name of Henry Hall, I think, is linked with the Gleneagles, and it's amazing to me that this is in the year 1977, and they still talk to me about my association with Scottish people through Gleneagles, and I'm always so proud to be found my kind of beginnings in that land.
Gleneagles for a while, you suddenly got a call, I think, to go full-time to the BBC, isn't that right?
I got a call to come down to London. They wanted to talk to me about something, and then could I catch the night train? So I caught the night train, and I got to London. I was asked if I would join the corporation, the BBC, and form a new dance orchestra.
That was to take the place of Jack Payne?
Yes. And I found myself in a very good position because, you see, I had collected 32 bands all around the hotels. And one very important contract, I was in charge of the BBC Orchestra, and I could be overruled by Sir John Reith.
But not by anyone else?
Yeah.
It must have been a bit difficult. Jack Payne had established such a firm style. Did you make a conscious effort to make a different style?
Well, I'm a different kind of animal, I think. He was proudly presenting a great orchestra in his time, and I don't look upon things that way. I had to provide music for the masses of people. I'm really quite a happy person, and I wanted a happy personal thing. And I don't think in terms of presenting programs proudly. I'm very pleased to play for a family. It's talking to Georgie Elric, Scots boy who came from Aberdeen, and I was talking to him only last Wednesday, and I remember he sang a song called "The Music Goes Round and Round," and it comes out here. And he's a wee lad, and when he was singing, we gracefully lowered his trousers for him and had a lot of fun. We're a happy band, which came out in our programs.
A girl came up, she said, "You're grand." So I replied in words low down, "Now this is how the music goes round." I blow through here, the music goes round and around, whoa, and it comes up here. I push the first valve down, the music goes down and around, whoa, and it comes up here. I push the middle valve down, the music goes down around, below, 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 diddly-ho-ho-ho, listen to the notes come out. I push the other valve down, the music goes round and around, oh, and it comes out here. Blow through here, the music goes round and around, oh, and it comes up here. I push the slide way out, the music goes round and about, oh, and it comes up here. I push the slide way down, the music goes down around, below, 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 diddly-ho-ho-ho, listen to the jazz come out. I make the funniest sound, the music goes round and around, oh, and it comes out here.
I think in 1937 you made your last official broadcast with the BBC Dance Orchestra as such. That was a very nostalgic occasion, wasn't it?
Well, it was quite an occasion. I remember Bert Reed, who was just resigned, by the way, as the director of entertainment, the Australian Broadcasting Commission. He played the solo piano part in the Rhapsody in Blue. And then I had some tunes, Night and Day, by Fred Astaire, and You Are My Heart's Delight by Richard Tauber, Tiger Rag by the Mills Brothers, Weep No More by Jack Buchanan, who was loved very much. And I had a comedian who's dead now, unfortunately, called Oliver Wakefield, who was quite a character I liked. And Noel Coward sang for me. And then to finish, or nearly finish, I had Gracie Fields singing You Got to Smile When You Say Goodbye. And of course, I played to me a tune which I hope is always associated with me, and was called Here's to the Next Time. I think, if I may borrow a moment of your time and play a few bars of that.
Well, yes, especially as we're just coming to the end of our series for the present, I think that would be a lovely way of finishing up, don't you, with Here's to the Next Time.
Thank you very much indeed. And may I just say to all my Scottish friends, hello, I've been so happy to be with you so many times. I'd love to come and see you again, but I'm an old man now. Goodbye.
Henry Hall was the guest in this evening's programme, which was presented by Lorne Gillies. The Victorians is produced by Ron Spencer.